Welcome to Your Health. I'm your host, Rhonda Alfred. Joining us on this episode is Chef Brian Ledet, Executive Chef at Terrebonne General Health System. Chef Brian's going to show us how to prepare a heart-healthy meal option to prevent heart disease. Welcome to the show, Chef Brian.
Thanks for having me.
You got things sizzling up already today on here. It's smelling wonderful. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you're preparing today.
All right, so I'm Chef Brian. I am the Executive Chef at Terrebonne General Health System. I've been here for about 10 years and in my current role for about 6.
All right, and I know you love to cook.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm so glad you do, because I love when you come on and get to share these recipes with us. So tell us what your heart-healthy recipe is today.
So today we're going to prepare a stuffed bell pepper, and in that bell pepper is going to be ground turkey and quinoa. Quinoa is one of those grains that nobody likes to mess with unless you know. So if you know, you know. It's just super good for you. Adds a lot of texture to your foods. It's super, super yummy.
Okay. Well, what did you start off with here? I see.
So to this pan, I had a little bit of olive oil, and then I put the Pope. So normal seasoning blend, we call it.
The Trinity.
The Trinity, it's bell pepper, onion, and celery. So the addition of garlic is the Pope. We're browning that up.
Learned something new today. I didn't know that.
And then I just added some of my ground turkey. And once that is all browned, we pretty much take it off the heat after that. And then this is a mixture of brown rice and quinoa. And you cook it just like you would rice. We steam ours here, so it's a 3-to-1 ratio, water to grain. So I mixed it together to save time.
Okay.
And we're just gonna add all that here.
And they have the directions on the bag, right?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay.
And to that, it asks for salsa. I don't want it as wet, so I'm using just pico.
And what's pico?
Pico is just a dry salsa, essentially. It's tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, cilantro.
Okay, so even more spices are going into this. More of the Trinity is going in with the addition of some tomatoes. So what is the thing about quinoa? You said if you know, it seems like the in thing to be eating these days.
So quinoa is so versatile. You can add it to soups, you can add it to salads. It just gives texture that you can't get from rice.
Okay, so it kind of gives you a little
punch of flavor. Is super good.
All right.
To this, we just have a chiffonade of spinach.
A chiffonade.
Chiffonade is just a fancy way of cutting it.
Okay, so very thin.
Yeah, like ribbons.
Like ribbons. Okay. That way you get some green in there, some good vitamins.
So super colorful. And then I have 2 bell peppers here. You can do them a couple of ways. One, you can steam them ahead of time, get them super soft if you're just gonna prep everything at one time. I have them raw here because these would go in the oven for about 40 minutes. So to cook your bell pepper at that time.
Okay. So you can boil them to get them soft, or you don't have to?
Correct. So if you want to make them ahead of time, you would leave them raw and then cook them in the pan in the oven, wrapped in foil and saran wrap to steam your peppers.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then we're just gonna stuff this as much or as little as you want.
So I'm noticing you're using yellow and orange peppers. I mean, I'm just used to seeing the plain old green peppers. So tell me more about why you're using these peppers.
So they just add a punch of color. A lot of people say they taste sweeter than the normal green ones. To me, they all taste the same, but it's everyone's preference.
Okay.
To this, I'm just gonna top it with cheese. Any type of cheese you want.
That looks like a blend of...
This is cheddar and mozzarella.
Okay.
And from here, it would go in the oven, 350 for 40 minutes, covered with foil and saran wrap and that'll trap in the moisture and steam your peppers.
Okay, so you put the saran wrap on first, and then the foil on
and then
top
the
of
foil.
that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Well, why is this one of your favorite recipes?
It's just another one of those recipes you can change up however you like. You can leave out the turkey, you can do ground beef, but to be healthier, leaner, we want the ground turkey. If you don't like brown rice, skip it. Use white rice. Don't use rice at all. It's really up to you.
It looks like kind of a one-dish meal. Do you serve anything else with this when you serve this? Or
Typically no, unless you want like a side salad or something. But this is one of those where you kind of have the salad and the protein all at the same time.
Right, and can you eat the pepper and the stuffing?
You can.
together?
If you like the pepper, you eat the pepper. I would suggest cooking it, like cooking it in the oven first. But it's however you want. I don't like to eat the pepper. I love the flavor of the pepper. I just don't like the crunch for the most part.
Yeah, it's the texture thing.
Right.
Huh? How many servings does this recipe
So
make?
this will make four half peppers.
And that was a pound of ground turkey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing this recipe. I can't wait to try it.
Not a problem.
For this recipe and more, visit tghealthsystem.com. Thanks so much for joining us on To Your Health. I'm your host, Rhonda Alfred, and we'll see you right back here next week.